Good afternoon. I can't hear. Good afternoon. Yeah, I know the session before lunch is always difficult, and we also have some 8 players batting in the next session, so we'll keep it as interesting as possible. I am Balachandar, the host and the moderator for you today for this panel. And the panel that we are going to handle now is a very interesting topic called 4D, a 4D effect. And in that, the 4D stands for design, data, delivery, and digital. So keeping to the theme of this particular conference, we are going to see it with the lens of family businesses that are using this 4D to improve. And we have an excellent mix of promoters and also technology providers who will help us and think through all this 4D. I have a small introduction PPT which I'm going to take you through. Okay, data. So people thinking that this is a BSE or an NSE stock index, no. Actually, this is the data dashboard of one of the retailers. The way they are looking at numbers, the way they are interpreting data is something that we all need to learn. I thought I'll put this up to just stress on how people have started looking at data. Design, right? How many of you have heard of this Apple Cube, the legendary store at New York, right? So for the people who haven't heard, I'll tell you a background. This is the largest grossing store for Apple in the world, and it's actually in a basement. So traditionally, retailers say that basements don't work, second floor doesn't work, but using this cube as design architecture, Steve Jobs created a focal point or an attraction which made people come in and which eventually has resulted in the largest grossing store for Apple. And actually the store of the Apple is at the basement and the cube is only to attract the people coming inside. So see the way design has been used in retail. This is our homegrown example. We have Sarfraz here somewhere. This is old LKS Sarfraz's store and how it has been transformed into a new theme. So again, design has been used extensively to alter the retail experience. Delivery. So one of the third D is delivery. So we see 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I think next will be basically waiting outside your door ready to deliver. So Zepto has come with 10 minutes. Dunzo, I don't know what calculation they made 19 minutes. So I think delivery is becoming a huge component for a retailer. So how are we countering delivery impact is something that we'll see. Of course, digital, with not just profit per square feet, sales per square feet, we need to start seeing KPI, LTV, CPC, CPM, CPA. So these all might be terms that are alien to us, but I think digital is also driving sales in the future. So with this background of what we've started in terms of 4D, I now invite all the panelists on stage and we'll start with the panel. Welcome all the panelists and we'll have a self-introduction from the panelists as well. Please come in. Mr. Ashim, Dr. Ravi, Jayashree ma'am, Mr. Murugan, Mr. Patabi, Mr. Sendil, Mr. Vaidiswaran, Mr. Vikas, and Mr. Suren. We'll just have the mics in a few seconds. So how we are going to do the session is we have a quick intro from each of them. Looks like a cricket team, but don't get worried. We'll just have a minute intro from each of them, what they're doing, which business they are in. And then we have specific questions that they will talk about on design, data, digital, and stuff like that, which will be useful for you. Can I have the mic? Any mics here? Thank you. We'll start with Mr. Patabi.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Patabi Ramarao. The current business that I run is called Gourmet Popcornica LLP. We're India's largest grower and supplier of popcorn. This year, 1 in every 2.5 kernels of popcorn consumed in India is coming from a farm in Andhra. We cracked something that nobody had done. But before my transition into an agri-business, I built a brand known as Cookie Man. Started with one store, built it to 70, sold the brand to Everstone, and then did this flip into agri-manufacturing.
Thanks, Patabi. Yes.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Murugan. I manage the business of Southern Health Foods. Brand name is Manna. Pretty much we are into millet-based value-added food. 3.5 years back when we started advertising that millets are good, we had only Andhra and the Karnataka governments talking about it. I'm so happy that today the whole world is talking about the goodness of millets in food.
Thank you, Murugan.
Good afternoon. This is Vaidishwaran from Emerald Jewel Industry Limited. First and foremost, though it is belated, happy Independence Day wishes to all of you. Thank you, Roy, for giving this opportunity. I represent the retail division of Emerald Jewel Industry, which is started 38 years ago by a very first time entrepreneur, Mr. Srinivasan. Today, it is one of the world's largest jewelry manufacturing company, and that is coming from Coimbatore. So we have a retail arm called Jewel One, currently in Tamil Nadu and Pondi, and we have an aspiration to go pan-India shortly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vaidi sir.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ashim Patil. I am the promoter of iTech RFID. We are a Tech Mahindra Group company headquartered in Pune. And we are deploying RFID solutions in and around inventory visibility, omni-channel fulfillment, fitting room analytics, self-checkout systems for brands like Reliance Retail, Aditya Birla Retail, and many other family-owned brands as well. As the theme is, edition of this particular show is family business, we are also catering to many family businesses for their inventory visibility solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashim. Sendil.
So, I'm Sendil Natarajan from Kovai Palamudar Nilayam. Now the second generation entrepreneur. Of course, the third generation also is peeking in. My nephews just started in the business. So we are basically a 15-year-old brand. We have 52 stores now operating 9 different cities. And we are fresh produce based supermarket, and that's what we do. Thank you.
Thanks, Sendil.
I'm Jayashree Ravi, founder of Palam Silks. I'm also daughter of Nali Kupaswamy Chetty, and we specialize in contemporary Kanjivarams, and this is our 20th year now, and I can proudly say that we have introduced a lot of concepts to attract youngsters to wear silk saris, and our goal is to see that youngsters, the next generation, wears more of pattu saris, as we call the Kanjivarams.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Ravichandran. I work for a company called Adrenalin eSystems. I'm working as a chief product officer there. So what we do in Adrenalin is like we are an HR tech company, and we develop software for HR and employees, and also run payrolls for many organizations. So our primary focus is like, creating the experience for the employees. How best a good experience can be provided to the employees in such a way that the productivity, the kind of experience what they go and what they go through, and the engagement, which creates a kind of a morale, and the interest and to work and deliver in an organization is what. How can that be achieved using a software is what we do in our organization.
So can you repeat your name and company name, please?
I work for Adrenalin. Adrenalin. My name is Ravichandran.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vikas Baisani. I'm the founder of Off and On. We're a platform for premium electronics, and we just launched last Monday. So I'd welcome a lot more orders.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Suren. I'm the founder of Tango Eye. We're a video analytics and data analytics company for retailers. We are present in over 3,000 stores, from small brands to very large brands like Lenskart and Nikon.
Thanks, Suren. So I'll jump on to the questions for the panel. I'll start with Mr. Vaidi. Vaidi, from a bulk manufacturer of diamonds, you've moved into retail. And with retail, the whole business model is very different compared to a B2B. In terms of data and design, how has the organization DNA changed significantly in Emerald? And how Jewel One, are you building a new team, or is the same team from Emeralds that's taking forward? Can you take us through the data and design part at Jewel One, please?
Thank you, Bala. First and foremost, I would like to pace out these discussions in two ways. One is about the general perspective about data and its importance to the business. Second is, what is our success story in the Jewel One business model? We are carved out of the manufacturing portion almost a decade ago, and we are now in a transformational journey. Jewel One currently present in 14 marketplaces, 13 in Tamil Nadu, 1 in Pondicherry. And we have two brands. One is the Jewel One, second is Zilara, is a pure SAS model-based silver brand. Now let me talk about the perspective about the data. Generally it is said God is in details. So what do you mean by detail? Detail, many people shy away from looking at the data and information, which is a wealth of your business knowledge. So while a small or a medium or a large scale organizations have plethora of data, but what to use, what not to use is the major dilemma what every manager will have. So to put into perspective, what I would like to share here is what is the needed data for you? Actually, it is carved out of your vision, then move to your strategy. The strategy pillar tells you how will you realize your vision. So the strategy and strategic objectives will tell you what is the data you need to look into, and therefore how will you build on your cases and build your business for your success. So the general perspective about that. Having said that, how we derived our success story from this and how we are running the business of Jewel One, I'll give you two examples of that, which is going to be very interesting and a live example for all of us to know. When I joined some 15, 16 months before, the company is undergoing a family-run business to family-managed business to a professionally run business. So that's what Mr. Srinivasan, when he started this company almost 4 decades ago, a single first-time entrepreneur after completing his BSc Mathematics and joined as a salesperson. One day he thought, I don't want to continue this job, I want to create an empire. That's what today it's Emerald. Emerald is known for its manufacturing prowess. So that company, as part of their leadership decision to move forward in the forward integration strategy, started the Jewel One. Right. Having known this, what is that structure, what we are operating, how this data helps us to catapult our business model? So 15, 16 months before, when I joined the company, I was having a discussion. There is an exclusive team available for Jewel One Retail. So when I asked the question, when I joined, who is our customer? Who are they buying? What are they buying? If I put this question to them, many people have their own answers. And I was getting totally paranoid about the answers, what I should focus on. When I want to transform the business from the family-owned business to a professionally run business, what is that going to get me off? So when I was not getting a very convincing answer, I created a structure to get the data very, very systematically. That was the voice of customer data. Friends, please believe me, the customer is the one who gives you everything, whether it's money or the data or everything. So without them, no organization exists. We all of us are aware of it. So therefore, going to the customer and getting the information about the customer, what are their buying behavior, what they want to buy, what are the demographics of the customer, all that we thought of doing it in a very systematic way. Otherwise, as a family-run business, we all had a more feeling-based, gut-based data. So one of the examples I'll tell you here. So when I asked who is your customer, I got many answers like, our customer group is 40 to 60 years old female customers. Okay. So but when the other side of the story is, people are coming to us only because of the design. Design is very beautiful. Then there is a contradiction between the answer and the two answers. So when we started this voice of customer data, after 100 days of analysis, we found that what our hunch was saying or the feel was a totally opposite. So we had a customer group, beautiful customer group of 20 to 40 years customer group, and 56% of the customers are graduates. That was a beautiful story to start our game in the marketplace. And with that, that culminated into a beautiful collection called Ayana, which is a meaning of wonderful flower. For you, like you, with the tagline we launched, Jolvan launched, that is having a very stunning success in the marketplace, and we had a superlative business performance from the collection launch. That is one example I wanted to give you that is purely from the customer database, with the demographics of the customer. Second one, I'll tell you, most of the customers know that Jolvan is more of a gold jewelry retailer. But the perception is available from the marketplace as well as our own team. They didn't have the belief that our customers will buy diamond jewelry. When we started interacting with the customer, collecting the data from the customer, we found the blue ocean for us. So that made us to launch a collection called Nirjara. It's the collection themed based on the waterfall. And that, I'll tell you now, as on today I stand before you, we have grown 2x diamond sales within less than a year after launching this diamond collection. So that is the success coming out of from the horse mouth is a customer who you respect, collaborate with them, get the data, and move forward. So with this, I would like to conclude that God is in details, and go for the God, customer is your God. And the data is going to be the wealth for every business and for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaidhi sir. You spoke excellently about how data influences product design. Thanks a lot. I'll go on to the next question to Jayashree ma'am. Ma'am, you come from an illustrious family business. Nalli is a huge name. There's no one single household that doesn't have a Nalli sari. And you've also branched out into a niche, which is Palam. Obviously, design and aesthetics is the most important part of both your product and also the environment. Can you please take us through your sense of design and aesthetics, please?
First of all, it's not very easy to become a brand, being part of already a big family known for silk. So I was wondering, like, what could I do different, and how could I make a mark in silk? But then I realized that, initially I felt there's nothing that I could do that my father has not done. But then I realized as the brand was growing and it was really becoming big, which I mean literally, like over, what was maybe 10,000 square feet was now 30,000, 40,000 square feet. You have new employees, the old employees have left, and many of the new employees could not make that kind of a connect with the customer, which is very much important when it comes to your pattu sari, which is, people hold a sentiment to every product or every pattu sari that they buy. It's for occasion or it's for a wedding. So there I saw that there was a gap that I could fill. So that's when I thought, that's how Palam came into being in 2003. I went up to my father and said, could I do this? And he said, yes, I think it will work, go ahead. And that's now, we are into our 20th year. So Palam was the first silk sari boutique. And that was for where I focused more on a homely ambience, leisurely shopping, and there was one-to-one service, personal attention. I was there helping them curate their wedding trousseau. And I could make that connect, and I felt that there was something. I had their attention now. And then I realized that youngsters were moving away from silk saris, because that was a time, this is way back in the early 2000s, when women were moving out to other cities and towns. They were taking up jobs, and they didn't have their mom or grandma or aunt to help them with their drape the pattu sari, which is known to be heavy and stiff. That's how it was. So I started thinking about it and started working on it. So again, we had to change the very basic texture of a pattu sari. So there was a weaver who understood where I was coming from, and he helped us, and we went through a lot of research for a few months. And then we came up with a fabric which was made with a finer yarn of silk, and we used a different kind of finish. And we came up with a kanjivaram, which is soft, light, so easy to drape, and we don't need to compromise on the quality or the design. So that was one big break for us. And now we had to attract the youngsters with the designs, because they already felt the designs were a little traditional, meant for the middle-aged. So there we had to again make a change. We had to break the taboo. And so we had the first fashion shows for Kanjivarams, which wasn't done earlier for Kanjivarams at all. So this started in 2009, And year on year, I think till to 2016, we had fashion shows, we introduced a lot of concepts, right from wrinkle-free pattu, we had corporate pattu, we had multicolored hues, we introduced copper zari, we introduced silver zari, and recently we had the dynasty collections, which is the coins and sculptures of the Chera, Chola, Pallava and Pandya dynasties, which is designed into saris. So we had a very good response for this, and today I can proudly say a great percentage of our customers and clientele is below 35 years old. So that was a big success for us. Now, when it came to even the store designs, we have 3 stores. We have a store in Pondibazar, which is, we have the sales counters as you have in the retail stores. But in Oliver Road, we have a store where it is more like a walk-in wardrobe. The customers can walk in. All the products are out there on display, on the shelves and in the hangers. They are not at the mercy of the salesperson. See, with due respect to all that the salespeople do, even if they attend, the best salesman cannot show you more than 300 or 400 products. And you have nearly 2,500 to 4,000 products, and the customer can walk in and pick anything, and of course the salesman is there to help. So we had to make a change also in the shopping experience. So all this we were able to do, and in 2003 when we launched, Palam had, our tagline was, "Look trendy in silk." And today I think every brand connects the word trendy for Kanjivarams. And everything that we did was not for, not for the sake of being different, but we were looking at, there was always some problem that had to be solved, the customer's problem. And sometimes the thing was the customer herself wouldn't realize that she has a problem. So when we come up with a solution that happens to be an innovation, and it clicks. So I think like all that, the whole journey of Palam has been trying to identify what the issue is, trying to see how we can solve the problem for the customer, and that's how we have come out to be successful. And today, I'm so happy to say that we are accepted as a trendsetter, not only in the conceptualized Kanjivarams, but also in providing a shopping experience to the customer.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for taking us through the story of Palam Silks through the language of design. I'll now move to Suren. Suren, video is exploding in terms of digital content and all that. You run a technology which is into video but generates data for the retailer. Can you tell us how your technology will help family businesses, retailers to explore data through video?
Absolutely. So I think data is a theme that we are touching upon in all aspects of this discussion. So Tango Eye, essentially, it pulls data about customers that walk into a store, right from basic as footfall information accurately, trying to say the number of people that walked in, and getting more qualitative information about the customer around the demographics, which we talked about. Can be anything from age, gender, are kids really coming into the store? Is there a market for a kid's version of whatever product that we are selling in the retail store? We can also add on to this data set with other qualitative information. Right? This is the AI part, but we are also able to augment this with whatever sales staff are able to input into our software. So we've built a collective software that is AI-driven, but also a human-in-the-loop system. Once we have all this data, I think the real question comes about as to how can we use this data in offline retailing or retailing in general. One theme that we've helped a lot of our customers achieve is to really improve the sales conversion. Right? In the new e-commerce businesses that have come up, anyone that walks into a website or lands on a website is a lead, and we treat them, we follow them with cookies, we identify everything that they do and where they drop off and all of this. The same level of detail is not available in offline, and which is what we're trying to replicate. So realigning the thought process of a retailer to say anyone that walks into a retail store is a lead. We should find out why, if there is a missed opportunity, why is there a missed opportunity? And this is what our system helps retailers do to identify walk-ins as leads and then identify the missed opportunities that come up in
So you
in
can
this.
capture existing CCTV footage and take it into your...
That's right. We're a software-only solution, so we're easily deployable. So we capture the existing CCTV data and we sort of collate the footfall into leads and help manage the leads in the offline.
So by facial technology, do you find existing customers, new customers? Is that possible yet?
That's surely possible, but we've sort of put a layer of hold there. We only anonymously say a person with a brown jacket walked in, a person with a white shirt walked in. That could be of this age group and of male demographic.
So all promoted family-run businesses here, I think one of the biggest leaps that's happened is in video technology, and CCTV footage is being used extensively by video guys like Suren's company to come up with data and throw up inputs for us to manage retailers better. So maybe you should connect with Suren offline. And thanks, Suren, for sharing.
Thanks for that pitch, Balas.
Yeah, thanks, Suren. And I'll now come to Patabi. Patabi, sir, you have been responsible for our expanding waistlines, right from Cookie Man to butter popcorns. And your popcorn game has been a huge distribution game, right from the agricultural field to the cinema hall that comes in. Take us through your distribution and delivery model that you use in your business.
So I call myself the con man because I was the last player to enter India's popcorn industry. When my partner Kiran Reddy and I set this up, everybody thought the popcorn game was already played out because the MNCs were here. 70% of India's popcorn was imported, and nobody had ever grown American quality popcorn in a tropical climate. And that's the background with which we got in. And we got in not because we had done some huge McKinsey study, but we got in like most Andhra entrepreneurs because we saw an opportunity.
Entrepreneurs.
Andhra entrepreneurs who basically jump in when you see a small opening. And the opening was that imported corn was available at X, and premix, which was being supplied into the industry in India, was costing 2X. The fact that there was such a big arbitrage led us to get into this journey. What we understood from that journey was that the industry had stagnated. Nobody had really invested in understanding what is it that the primary consumer wanted. So in the multiplex business, weirdly enough, it's only been 7 years since we launched, and it's been 7 years since any multiplex in the country has had a stock out. We organized our entire delivery platform to ensure that the premixes that go into a PVR or an Inox don't have any emulsifiers in it. There's no artificial shelf life enhancements happening. It's good premix. It's the product that I would like to feed my 8-year-old daughter. And we're giving it to the multiplex with 80% of its shelf life. And we're managing their process such that they don't have stock outs. So my team knew that Lal Singh Chadda wasn't going to work out a few days before the rest of India heard it, because we're tracking their opening booking. We're talking to different cinema, every one of our clients, so that our job, the sales end of the business is very small. It's the delivery end for the multiplex that's crucial in understanding how the footfalls are expected to be, in understanding how each show is going, and then ensuring our back end moves material. We're moving, while I'm saying it, actually our premix is going to all states of India. We're going to start delivery into Srinagar because Inox is just launching. Until now, we weren't supplying the valley, Kashmir Valley. We weren't supplying the Northeast, the 7 states. We're otherwise moving premix from one unit in Chennai with 85% of its life, which is 4.5 months. So it's less than 15 days from production in my factory till it's popped in the cinema. We're achieving it seamlessly. It's not so tough, it's just a question of what's the challenge you put. We're the first guys to actually grow American quality popcorn in a tropical environment. We're doing it with temperate hybrids. The seeds come from Nebraska in USA. There's breeding programs on where the Americans are now trying to create a tropical hybrid. But we're doing that as well, moving seed. So when the popcorn that comes into PVR in April started its journey in Nebraska the previous April, when the seed that was harvested started moving in temperature and humidity controlled vehicles down to Chennai, to our factories. We're growing in 4 states of India. And after the corn is grown, we then move the wet cob into dryers, dry the product, move the shelled corn back to cold storages, where our product, we're the only popcorn company in Asia to store the corn in a condition where it doesn't deteriorate until 5 years, because we don't have anything that's more than 8 months old. But I learned this a long time ago. Brands stands for what our whole brand is built around. You'll get the same quality, you'll get the same number of cones, whether you picked it up 1 month after harvest or a year after harvest. And you achieve that by holding it in the state of suspended animation. Once it gets into the factory, we are now delivering to over 500 clients across the country. And we are processing every batch after receiving the order. And to top it all, only popcorn company to have the guts to say there is a 100% replacement guarantee. You don't like our product, we'll replace it for free. We are very proud of the fact that till date there isn't a rupee of dissatisfied money in our bank account. I heard this from Mahatriya a few years ago, and I realized that even though we hadn't heard that catchphrase, we had actually built our business around that philosophy. That if the customer cannot be unhappy and I be happy. So as long as you have that right, everything else then gets defined from that. The fact that we have to replace the product means that nobody allows bad product, a product that doesn't meet our standards, leave our factory, because it's going to come back. And there's no questions asked. We'll pay for the transport, move it back, and send a fresh product. In all, it actually comes back to very basic common sense. Very simply put, what do we need to do to ensure everything else gets aligned? And I think most of you guys have already achieved it to a great extent. It's just that I've been called upon to make the delivery on behalf of so many other successful retailers who I can see in the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for taking us through that popcorn journey. But you know what, sir? The moment we put your name up on the panel, there was a question by popular demand. Can I ask that question? Has the Satyam popcorn changed?
Truthfully, no. Actually, what PVR did when they bought out SPI Cinemas is they switched their popcorn across Tamil Nadu to what was being served at Satyam. So all PVR locations now serve Satyam.
Thank you for clarifying. So my next question is to Mr. Ashim. We all have been using, barcodes. RFID is, of course, something that we've been talking about, especially in product retail. But the technology has evolved a lot in the last 3-4 years, right? So Ashim, can you please take us through RFID technology, how it connects with data and how it can be useful to retailers, please?
Sure. So RFID basically is a very old technology, and it's been used in World War II. And since then the various applications are there. Our company alone is in RFID for more than 2 decades now. So basically it is automatic identification and data capture technology. What RFID does is basically, if you have to draw an analogy, what blockchain is for the digital world, RFID is for the physical world. So we digitize and make the physical stock or the SKUs, we put a chip on it, and we make it machine readable and electronically readable so that it can seamlessly converge, the physical data can seamlessly converge with the digital world. So this is what RFID does with the help of automatic identification and data capture. We touch all the 4 Ds, with RFID. Design, when we talk about design, it is not only the store exterior and interior, the planogram and all, but it's also product design. How we have done, we have some use cases in RFID like fitting room analytics and conversion analytics. So in a particular apparel store, what attracts an eyeball, and the apparel is being tried in the fitting room, but it never gets sold. And what is giving a 100% conversion? What is giving a 40% conversion? So this helps in forecasting the design for the coming seasons, So this is a very important aspect, the data which we capture, the analytics which we draw. I just mentioned one of the use case, how it can help into the planogram of the store and how it can help into the design of the future apparel or product which the company is doing. When it comes to delivery again is over the counter with faster point of sale with RFID. You don't need to do one scan at a time. You can have self-checkout systems where an entire basket can be identified and built in a single scan. You must have experienced it in brands like Decathlon, and few we are also trying it out in Reliance Trends and many other brands. Also in Pantaloon, we have done it at some of the Mumbai stores. So delivery has been the key, the faster delivery. And as we are moving from O to O, that is online to offline and offline to online, the omni-channel fulfillment has become a key. And RFID, we have got use cases and data where we have been able to do the omni-channel fulfillment, which was happening around 70 to 80%, has now gone to 100%. And the time for omni-channel fulfillment, which was the biggest time taken, was for retrieval of the right product. And it has gone down to 1 minute, which used to be around 24 hours to 48 hours. So this is the big impact which RFID has brought into the delivery. So on omni-channel, online orders as well. And as a little bit on the family edition, family business, all the brands which we are working on today, whether it is the Reliance Retail or the Aditya Birla Retail or many. So if you look few decades back, all these brands were not professionally managed, but family managed brands. And the reason they have grown from a family managed business to a global business is because of the early adoption of technology. And we see that in RFID as well. So they are the first movers. So my appeal to all the family businesses here is look at technology not as a follower, but as an early adopter. And keep on trying. It's a myth that investing in technology is going to be heavy on your capital investment. No, it is not. Now, these technologies are really available in very, very fantastic business models. I'm not talking only of RFID, but many other technologies which will help you grow. And if you want to move from a family-owned business to a professionally managed business, technology investment is going to be one of the key things which you will have to really focus on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashim. Wonderful point. Invest in technology early. Sendil, I'll come to you last because Dhoni goes last always. We'll bring in, another young star in our retail space, Vikas. So Vikas is part of the Vivek's family, and he's now gone on to co-found a very interesting venture. And Vikas, you've worked with the family office at Vivek's as well, and you are now founding a, venture in this online space. How is social media and digital important in this age, and how can you grow a business through digital? Your thoughts?
Thank you for the question, Bala.
And I think it was apt for your age because I think we all are too old for digital. So
not at all.
Nobody
is old for digital. For off and on is definitely a niche experience, right? And very similar to Jayashree ma'am over here. I was part of the business for a very, very long time, serving the customer probably since I was 16 years old. And, after COVID, products like Dyson kind of led the way in terms of the customer appreciating a premium appliance. Not just the price, but probably the usability, the brand, the dedication towards what that one product does. While I was selling to my friends and family, they kept asking me for appliances that we didn't have in our portfolio, but they still wanted, and they wanted it especially from us. Doing a little bit of market research, I found that there are only two channels that these appliances come through. It's either the unorganized channel or people buy it from abroad. So I was like, why is no one hosting these products, these such amazing products? So hence was born Off and On. So whatever you buy from me, you can turn off and on. So the challenge over here was to get to market as soon as possible. How do I let people know that I'm here to serve you, this is what I do, these are my products. And the best way was digital, right? And to get online. So we worked very, very hard on our website. It's extremely minimal, aesthetic, nothing unnecessary. You have an absolute relaxed pleasure going through the website. All content is custom written. So there's a lot of information out there for you. Currently, even though the website is just 9 days old, I'm already seeing the role it plays in terms of what I have to do for the company. There's an insane amount of discoverability that's happening on the website and a lot of evaluation. I'm happy to say that I'm able to start making the customer think, and that's very important as a brand. Customers are staying on my website for 3 to 5 minutes, and that's amazing for a brand just getting launched here without any ad support. So the website and going digital has helped tremendously. Anytime I have a conversation with anybody about what I do, and I tell them my brand, the first thing they do is open their phone and check, what do you do online? So in discoverability, it's played a fantastic role. In terms of social media was created to actually connect people. It's not meant for ads. It's meant to connect people. It's meant for tremendous amount of storytelling. So as a brand, off and on, I was very clear on the fact that I wanted to remain a people brand, because without my customers, my brand is nothing, my company is nothing. So we're focusing currently a lot on storytelling. And it's a very it's not easy, but I'd say it's a very important way to keep the customer's attention going, as well as give them an emotional connect to both the brand, as well as the appliance that they're going to buy. And that's what I really want to sell to the customer. One is obviously convenience, reliability, and a connect and empowerment towards the product that they're using. So I'm sure all of us in the panel over here are emotionally connected to probably one appliance, right? Maybe it's a coffee maker, maybe it's a vacuum cleaner, and I want people to be proud of the things that they buy. So that's what Off and On stands for, and that's how we've been leveraging both digital as well as social.
Thank you, Vikas, and wish you all the best for your entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you. Looking forward to your order.
Thank you. So a round of applause for encouragement for Vikas, please. Now I'll come to Manna Foods, Mr. Murugan. Mr. Murugan is a professional running Manna Foods, which was founded by an entrepreneur. Many times people, especially in family business, ask me, what is the difference between a promoter and a professional? I somewhere picked up a very apt definition, which I thought I'll share with you during this panel. Something which is not there, a promoter can create, but something which is created, a professional can make better. So that's what I feel is a good combination of promoter professionals that will take family businesses forward. Sir, your journey with Manna Foods, taking over from the promoter, now with private equity in professionalizing it, taking it through this whole 4D, sphere. Can you please share with us, please?
Thanks, Vala. Thanks for the intro. I was about to say the same thing. I'm a marketing guy, and the consumer insight is always, you want to have more of what you probably don't have enough of. So when you're, for all the great entrepreneurs, they always feel, as I have to grow, I have to professionalize, I have to put in systems. The other way around, as you professionalize, two things that are very important is, how do you build ownership? And second, how do you build the response time that the owner does? No, everything can happen in a jiffy, right? You don't have to go through SOPs and books and all that. So the way we've kind of structured it in the last 3.5 years, it has been a challenging journey. Is first we said we would put a purpose for the organization. So what do we want Southern Health Foods and Manna brand to stand for? So we said we want to make whatever people across India and the world eat and drink, we'll make it more nutritious through millets and multigrain. So there could be a great dairy idea, we'll say no to. I remember when we said, let's make chapati more healthy. We said, let's make it with 100% millets. Then we said 75. Then we said 50. Finally, the R&D team came back and said, chapati banega hi nahi. It will not happen. You will not get good chapatis, because we also wanted to give a good experience with the product, right? So finally, we launched a product with 25% multigrain, but the leader was putting only 10%. The reason was, you can't just put multigrain for the sake of multigrain and lose the eating experience of a chapati. So of course, it's doing extremely well for us. Second, we said, okay, the health drinks markets, how do we, we had this theory that when you put vitamins and minerals and all, without food, we're not sure whether the body absorbs or not. That's why this whole concept of bioavailable is becoming big now. We had this conviction that when you put with grains, the body doesn't alienate it. It thinks you're giving it with food. So we launched health drinks with 7 and 9 and how many grains And grains are made to eat, right? So it's not an easy process to make it instant drinkable. Of course, we're very successful with the women's product we just launched. We put a lot of iron in it because we said, while there are a lot of calcium health drinks, there's no iron health drink. So we put 8 grains and we put a lot of iron. When we did the clinical, it was actually helping us to tackle anemia in like 90 days. So that's the power of when you put a strong purpose, the entire organization decides, so this is what we want to do. The second thing, obviously, is how do you kind of build systems, when you professionalize an organization, whether it is an enterprise in the factory, whether it is an application for the sales team. One, you need to build systems because you don't have that one beacon where every problem can go to. So building systems and building capability to manage those systems was a very big task for the last 3 years. And the third thing, which is extremely important, is you still have to grow, right? And grow faster than what you are growing. So we kind of started building brand propositions. So not only will we give a unique product, we'll also look at a unique space in the mind of the consumer. So Manna Health Mix is 100% natural nutrition for kids between 2 and 6. And only one of its kind product at that age, which is completely natural. Grain nutrition, we said every health drink wants its kids to win. No, my son has to win everything. When we launched Go Grains, we said no. Winning is winning with everybody else, winning with your friends, winning with your community. So we said not just winning with everybody, not just nutrition, grains nutrition. With the Ice Strong anemia product, we said women strong with Ice Strong. So these are 3 things which we kind of have tried to, professionalize the organization. We're doing okay so far. Coming back to the Ds, the 2 Ds which are extremely important has been and will continue to be for us, has been data and digital. And digital is extremely important. Even before COVID, it was important. See a person sitting in, a Tamilian, sitting in Himachal Pradesh in Solan, in a regiment, still wants the health mix. So you have a lot of Tamilians across the world and across India who will not have the ability to go and search for that one Tamil store where we can get. So online and digital is relevant and very big for us. One thing we realized very quickly was digital business is all about my consumer mind doesn't change, right? The medium of thing is just moved to a digital medium. So whether it is about discovery, you go to a mall, you want to search, you want to know where to search. And the digital medium is very simple. So we have one rule which we tell everybody. Look at insights and marketing as marketing. Apply it to television and mass media, apply it to the digital world. And that's kind of works for us. And one interesting thing about, digital, the user experience is something that's extremely important. I remember Amazon in the US said one-touch ordering. Now, I didn't know what it meant that time. Then the company I was working for, a global company, started zero-click ordering. I said, one click, I can still understand. You open Amazon and you say, okay, place my order. What's zero click? I'll think about it and it'll order. He said, no, you press the app and it'll take the last order. You can program it to that. Why did they say that? Because when you go to a store, you have pretty much control on you. When you're buying on the digital interface, the control is set up for you. And you are different from another guy. So do you do LCM or HCF of the journey? So it's something that's extremely important and we are taking care of it in a very, very, not easy, but we're taking care of it. The last part is obviously data. Again, I'll go back to my earlier stint, which was in a QSR. We're sitting on a global 30 billion global company CEO who says in this room, of course, I'm the most important person. Who is the second most important person? Not the head of America, not the head of the rest of the world, but this lady who handles data insights. And he said the company turned around and it is the best performing US script for the last 18 years. He said it's turned around because of data analytics and data insights. We thoroughly believe in it. And of course, the chart you showed, is what is the future. So whether it is about collecting data, we have an enterprise resource platform. We have a mobile application. One is, do you have enough centers to collect the data? And you have a structure for it. The second thing is, do you have enough ability to cull out the data and give it in the format as observations to people? The third point is, from the observation, can you get a consumer insight? And last point, obviously, is to act on it. So whether it is a small product which is not available or something which is excessively available in the chain. Now, why is it excessively available again and again and again? Could be that the purchase MOQ is higher and your sales have dropped over the last 6 months. But putting it together is not easy. So digital and data definitely for us has been a very strong cornerstone.
Thank you, Mr. Murugan. Thanks for sharing your journey of Manna Foods. Dr. Ravi, sir, in terms of digital and technology, I think there are a lot of ground yet to be covered for family businesses. How can you help us grow in terms of digital and technology?
So talking about digital and technology, like it's a very lengthy subject to talk for within the time period what we have, the paucity of time.
Agree.
But however, taking some use cases better to talk. Like I'll take one use case what we have experienced, so that will connect with the dots with the retail and the data what we do. One of our prospective customer in Dubai had a challenge of how to do a staff scheduling, because staff scheduling was very difficult when it comes to retail actually, like how to do it, because it's a very large, huge retail store, electronic store. They have various divisions. So what we did was we did a kind of a study where what all the data touch points from the customer to the system, and then how that can be analyzed is what we did actually. So we took the POS data and then started to analyze it and created a data model based on that, and found out many patterns coming out of it, when data So primarily connecting that to the employee, we found that the sales pattern in a given day, what happens during a morning 11 o'clock, the sale, what are the sales, 1 o'clock, what is the sale, 4 o'clock, what is the sale, evening 6 o'clock, what is the sale, and how that happens over a week, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, or weekend, what is the pattern arriving based on that. And also adding to that, there is another pattern which was holiday seasons coming in, festival seasons coming in. So these are all the kind of factors which is contributing to a kind of a scheduling of a staff in an organization. So it is not like you cannot run with a fixed organization, because there is a fixed cost, which is very expensive. So at the same time, when you want to sell a product, you need to have a right resource or a right person to be standing in the counter to explain about the product. So the skill of the person is very important. The knowledge level of the person is very important. And that too, the knowledge of the product, what he or she is going to sell, is very important. So there are various patterns arrived basis that, which helped us to create a staff scheduling, that what kind of resources can be planned, when can be planned, and what is the number can be planned, and whether it's a full-time employee or a part-time employee, and what is the training he or she has to go through. So we connected the dots from the hiring to the training, and then to the effectiveness of the training, and then to the POS data, and then to the store, the sales happening. So where there's a clear trend coming out. So data is such an important aspect when it comes to retail. That's the learning what we have got, and that's the exposure. And adding to that, when it comes to employee, connecting one more dot, where we talk about design. Design also talks about where how the store is designed, because I'm not talking about e-commerce here. I'm talking about a brick and mortar store here, where the store should be communicating to the customer who's walking in, what is the value that store is running for, what is the core value of the business what they run. For that to run, the core values practiced by the business should also be carried by all the employees who are working in that organization. If they are not carrying it, then the reflection of that brand is through the employees. So the customer experience will be felt through the employees who are going to exhibit the values of the organization. So we were connecting that dot as well when it comes to the other D of it, the design part of it, and how that core value can be built into the software, and that can be implemented to the customer, where the outcome of that will become much more bigger, not really in a tangible way, but in a more qualitative measure. You can see there's reflection coming out very clearly. That's the experience what I can.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi, and all of you guys who want to connect the dots between technology, HR, and what you do in an organization, please get Mr. Ravi offline. Yeah, thank you, sir. Now, I think last but not the least, Sendil, keeping the best for the last. Sendil, I think over the last couple of years during the pandemic, we didn't have queues in the apparel stores, we didn't have queue in the restaurant. The only place we had queue was in Sendil's store, which is Kovai Palamudar Nilayam, and we had to I had to call Sendil and Hari sir here for recommendations to get grocery. So we have gone through a lot of change in the last 2 years. You've seen tremendous hype in terms of people coming and picking up grocery, and at the same time, moving back to Zepto or the Dunzos of the world to wait at home and at their convenience and go through a delivery experience. In terms of delivery, grocery is the number one, which is going for that 10-minute demand, right? So in this whole scenario, how are you preparing Kovai Palamudar Nilayam, and what do you see as a change that's going to happen in distribution and delivery for your business, which might help others as well.
So, thank you so much. So with all due respect to whatever we have seen from the Dunzos and Zeptos, so I'd like to break a few taboos here. Number one, I think all this 10 minutes, 19 minutes fad, I think it's gonna die in next 1 year or 2 years. Same retail summit we'll all see. I think they're not gonna be there for too long. Reason number one, with all due respect for what they are building in technology and stuff like that, the basic unit economics, the premise of business, a profitable business is just not there. For making a delivery of products worth 200, 220, their admin cost, their rentals, their delivery cost, all that is somewhere running around 280 rupees. Add to that the cost of the product, which is like almost 180 to 200. The margins are wafer thin here. You know, in India, you are governed by something called as an MRP. So we are all running in very, very thin margin businesses. And hence, the volume and, of course, your frugalness in running the business is so important. So what I don't see here is any frugality. You know, they pay 25,000, 30,000 to get these delivery guys, and of course compromising on the safety. But having said that, delivery is very important. People are wanting delivery, but this 10-minute, 15-minute gratification of getting chips or Coke home, it's going to die away at some point of time. It is not sustainable for the business as well as for the customers too, because number one, they want that they need to pay a cost. Like you want a 20 rupees pack of chips delivered home, you need to basically pay for 10 rupees on the carry bag and add to that another 60, 70 rupees on the delivery guy. So are you willing to pay 100 rupees to get a pack of 20 rupee chips? I think not. People will probably walk into the nearest store and pick it themselves. Having said that, omni-channel is important. But here, what I would appeal to the businesses is not to get too carried away with the noise. You know, as of last month, Dunzo and Zepto had close to around 2 lakh app users in the whole of Chennai. Imagine the number of people living in Chennai, close to around 1.5 crore people, and just 2 lakh people are using the app to buy something. So which means that leaves out a large chunk, like around 99% of the people out of that zone. So which means I think we are getting lost in the noise. Let's focus on the core thing in our business. I would like to cite an example. 15 days back, we had our store opening in Kottivakam. And we went with good level of marketing. And of course, everybody, all the retailers, I see a lot of happy faces here. I know people are back to walk-ins and buying it from the store. And we had the highest number of footfalls ever in any of our store openings last month. This is after the Zeptos and Dunzos. So let us get back our focus on what we are good at doing. There is a certain culture in people of like Palam silk she was mentioning. I would never buy a silk saree online. Of course, the experience is just not there. I would never buy fruits and vegetables online because the joy of picking is not there. There'll be customers, of course, for whom convenience is required, at 10% of consumers, for whom the delivery might be needed, old-aged people who are unable to carry rice back home, of course, for whom delivery is required, but not at the cost of converting our own customers. You know, I used to do that. I used to do a lot of mistakes. I used to try to take my data of the offline customers and try to convert them into online by sending them out SMS, then realized, what the hell am I doing? I'm running on a very profitable business, sitting on top of a profitable business, and converting my offline consumers to and forcing them to online, which is again not sustainable. I've been there too. You know, I ran a startup called iBuyFresh in 2015. You know, I mimicked Big Basket at that point of time. I was the first one to start online grocery in a big way in Chennai. We grew very, very fast. In like 8 months' time, we were doing like 30,000 deliveries in a month, but the losses kept growing. And at some point of time, there was a self-realization, okay, at no point of time I will make money in this business. And this is true for Big Basket. They said 2015 we'll make money, 2016 we'll make profits, 2017 we'll make profits. 2022, they are still saying our losses have widened and we'll make money at some point of time. So what I want to say here is none of these guys are going to make money ever. The VC money is going to be burnt, and they are building something for scale. Maybe Tata's or Reliance or somebody would have to buy them out at some point of time just for the data they have. So my appeal to the retailers here is protect your data, ensure the data that you have, you make use of it, you follow the patterns of what's the number of times the customers have come this month, whether they have become a regular customer, who's your new customer, how they are becoming a regular customer, you know, whether they have done 3 purchases or 4 purchases with you consistently to become a regular customer, and how do you value them, put them in different buckets, the new consumer bucket, regular consumer bucket, and use the data very, very wisely. This is what the online companies do. I think this is very well retailers can do. There is a lot of guys speaking about technology here. I think that can very easily happen. And most importantly, the core culture of our business, I think we should make retail a pleasurable shopping experience. Of course, that's where the design comes. I think the new stores where we are making, we want to have larger aisles, great parking, and make the whole shopping experience very, very pleasurable. Put the importance back on the product, on the category, and I think that has really worked well. I think going forward, we are more and more becoming narrow focused on what our consumers want to buy from us, and focusing right there. I think data is helping us really a large chunk there, and of course we are making a good use of design. Of course, the lesser 2 concepts that I am speaking about, of course, delivery. We don't want to shy away from that. We still do a lot of deliveries in tie-up with Dunzo and few other people, but not at the experience of the customer experience who is coming to our stores. Actually, I want to put a lot of respect to that customer who's walking into the store and deliver him the best, rather than taking my focus away. Because my father, I think that's one culture he has taught me. The person who's taking all the effort to come into the store, you attend to him, you make him feel good, you deliver him what he exactly requires. I think that's what we as a brand are focusing to do, and I think all the retailers are seeing better numbers than COVID in the last 3 months, including us, which means retail is here to stay. Retail is here to stay for a very, very long time. I think we can take the online as compliment, but let's not give too much importance to that.
Thank you, Sandil. Well said. I think a very powerful message that Sandil has said is protect your data. Many times we don't give importance to the data as retailers. We feel it's just lying there. Anybody, even an employee sometimes has a copy of our customer database. So I think protect your data is a message that we'll take from Sandil. So we are almost near our session's end. We have another 3 minutes to go. We'll open it up for the audience for questions. So any questions, happy to take. When anybody, you can put your hands up, you will get a mic, and you can address the question specifically to one of the gentlemen here or ma'am here. Anyone? I think lunch is playing on you. Any questions? Sarfraz, any question? Please, mic, please.
My question is to Mr. Ashim. So, how successful is RFID with respect to jewelry business? Is there a lot of potential? I've been dabbling with RFID for the last 5-6 years. As you said, we worked on how much tray space it is taking, how many times a product has been shown to the customer, and then at what time it sells. And we are trying to map, but then we have a lot of issues with terms of the size, and then also with metal. So how far is RFID successful?
Yeah.
And
thanks,
is it the most biggest thing is it is not making sense of cost. Although it is an investment, it's like a huge investment and not making sense.
Yes, yes, I agree to you when it comes to few of the formats, like, jewelry being one of the format, like another format is household items and groceries. RFID is not meant for household items and groceries. We are focusing more on apparel and footwear. We have done few POCs in jewelry in last 15 years, like Reliance Jewel, we had done the POC way back in 2007. We are a convergence of the digital and the physical world, like Senthil just mentioned, we want to make the physical experience for the customer more enriching, And in jewelry, the aesthetic or the beauty of the jewel is the uninterrupted view of it, And with RFID, you're always going to have some kind of a tag or something attached to it. Now we are all working in the laws of physics and math. We cannot change however much money we have, or however much we invest. We can't change physics for our retail experience. So the way the frequency works, so size is going to be a problem. So we are going to have a size of maybe 1 centimeter by 2 centimeter tag, which is like your barcode tag. We are going to have challenges with the readability. We are going to have challenges with metal. Like I can draw an example of your mobile phone. We work on the similar bandwidth. When you get into a metallic elevator, your signal drops. We can't change that in a mobile phone. However, it is a powerful device with a strong lithium-ion battery. Here, a RFID tag is without a battery. So your use cases in jewelry, if they are in and around your strong room inward and outward, if they are in and around, instead of counting the rings in a tray, if you want to identify the rings in a tray, if your use cases are in and around tamper evidence of the tag, you will have to invest a little bit more, so the tag cannot be removed and put on another jewelry. So if these are the use cases, then yes, RFID is the right investment or the right technology for you. But if it is more on the customer experience side of it, then yes, you may have the tag as a hindrance, and we'll have a separate discussion. I invite you to visit my booth. I have got some samples over there which I can show you, and some use cases which we can discuss. But yes, in the way it works in apparel and footwear, it will not work in jewelry, is what I can.
Thank you, Mr. Ashim. Thanks, Sarfraz, for the question. We have another gentleman up for a question.
Hi, my name is Niranjan from Nivasoft. We are a retail digital innovation company. My question is specifically for Senthil. Senthil, you spoke about, hats off to you. You had a very different view altogether. So one is that. Second thing is, I wanted to understand specifically, since you're on the perishable side of things, have you put this data into use in your supply side or the raw material side of things? And if so, how we have done it? And from a customer perspective, what are the key metrics that you're looking at from your perspective?
So data, we are using it in two different ways. One, we are using the consumer data basically to understand the life cycle of a customer, when he is onboarded into the brand, when he has become a regular with the brand. So these kind of data, it goes separately. The second part of data, of course, the most important for us is the product data and the category data of the consumer. So for example, in any of the stores today you walk in, you will find a product. You have to find the product from the beginning of the day till the end of the day. So based on the different days, so possibly it's very high perishables. So data driving is extremely important. So we know on a specific Friday in RD, this much carrots would move in this particular store. So we have data of the last 3 years, and everyday purchase is now guided by data, not by any of the managers. There's no guesswork there, there is nothing. So of course, the FMCG products, it's far more easier. We just have MBQ and few other concepts by which we deliver, and there's no fear of actually the expiry, because there's a considerable expiration period. But whereas in this particular field, where the product just lasts for a day, the data is extremely crucial, and it is extremely crucial to convey this data back to the farmers, because we need that much of harvest to come in this particular day. So there should be a heads up given. So this is where we work on. So actually the store and the outlet, the front end, what you see, it goes by systems and processes. So we have said, of course, there's a lot to improve there, but that goes on. But where we work for most of my time is on understanding this particular data. Like somebody was mentioning here that the data analytics person is the second most important person in the company. So like that, I'm the data analyst in my particular company. So I have a couple of people who work with me. So we understand this data very, very strongly and try to see how do we ensure there are no wastages. There is only one way to sustain in this business. If you are able to predict using data and minimize wastages, then you can sustain in this business. This is a little harder business, yes.
Thank you so much, Sendil. Now we are through with the time, and a huge round of applause to all the panelists. 60 minutes, we had 10 panelists. 6 minutes, they did a very good job. Great job, guys. And a huge round of applause to you guys as well. You've been a great audience. Thanks a lot.